Sometimes the smallest hands carry the biggest lessons. In a quiet office late one evening, a billionaire closed his eyes and pretended to sleep, certain he was about to confirm what he believed about people and money. He thought he understood kindness. He was wrong. What happened next didn't just surprise him. It stopped his heart for a moment and changed the way he saw the world forever. Before the story begins, take a second to support stories that lift people up. Subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment to share your thoughts. You're watching Kindness Diaries, where real human kindness reminds us who we can be. The billionaire's name was Arthur Hale. He built his fortune from nothing, rising through long nights, hard deals, and a belief that the world rewarded the strongest. His office sat on the top floor of a glass tower in Chicago, overlooking the city like a quiet judge. Every night, long after most employees left, Arthur stayed behind, reviewing numbers that never seemed to satisfy him. One evening, as the cleaning crew arrived, Arthur had an idea. He had watched people for decades, but he wondered how they acted when they thought no one important was looking. He decided to test it. He leaned back in his leather chair, loosened his tie, and closed his eyes, breathing slowly as if asleep. The janitor that night was a woman named Maria. She worked 2 jobs and raised her son alone after her husband passed away. That evening, her son Leo, just 10 years old, sat quietly at a small table near the door, waiting for his mother to finish. Leo sometimes came with her when babysitters fell through. He wore an old t-shirt, and his sneakers were scuffed, but his eyes were gentle and curious. Maria began cleaning carefully, wiping desks and emptying trash. She noticed Arthur sleeping and whispered to Leo to stay quiet. Leo nodded. As they worked, Leo kept glancing at the men in the chair. He had never been this close to someone so powerful, though he didn't know who Arthur was. Then something happened that Arthur didn't expect. Leo stood up and walked closer to the desk. Maria froze and quietly called his name, afraid he might get in trouble. But Leo didn't touch anything. He just looked at Arthur's face, tired and lined, even in sleep. Leo noticed Arthur's hands. They were clean, but his watch looked heavy, and his suit seemed stiff. Leo remembered how his mother's hands ached every night. He thought about how tired she looked when she came home. He thought about how adults carried worries kids couldn't see. Without a word, Leo walked back to his backpack. He pulled out a pair of yellow cleaning gloves, too big for his hands, stained from helping his mom at home. He slipped them on and returned to the desk. Arthur, still pretending to sleep, felt a shadow fall over him. He expected laughter, maybe mischief, or nothing at all. What he felt instead was warmth. Leo gently placed his gloved hands over Arthur's cold hands, rubbing them softly, as if trying to warm them. Arthur's chest tightened. Leo whispered, barely louder than air, "My mom says when people work too much, they forget to rest. I don't want you to get sick." Arthur wanted to open his eyes. He wanted to speak. But he couldn't move. In that moment, the numbers, the buildings, the power, all of it felt small. Leo noticed a glass of water on the desk and quietly refilled it from the cooler. He straightened the papers so they wouldn't fall. Then he placed a small folded note beside Arthur's hand. It was written in shaky pencil. Maria finished cleaning and rushed over, apologizing softly, afraid Leo had done something wrong. But Arthur still didn't move. He needed a moment longer. When they left, the office felt different. Quieter. Lighter. After the door closed, Arthur opened his eyes. He stared at the note for a long time. His vision blurred. No one had spoken to him like that in years. No one had touched his hands with kindness instead of expectation. The next morning, Arthur asked his assistant to find Maria. She arrived nervous, holding Leo's hand. Arthur knelt down to Leo's level and thanked him. Leo looked confused. "I just didn't want you to be cold," he said. Arthur offered Maria a raise, flexible hours, and full benefits. He also started a scholarship fund for children of service workers in his company. But more than that, he changed how he lived. He left work earlier. He learned names. He listened. Weeks later, Arthur framed Leo's note and hung it in his office. When people asked about it, he smiled and said, "This is the reason I remember to be human. Kindness doesn't ask who you are or what you own. It doesn't need power or permission. Sometimes, it comes wearing oversized gloves and a brave, gentle heart. If this story moved you, let it move your hands too. Hold someone's pain for a moment. Warm someone's day. And remember, kindness can stop even the strongest hearts and teach them how to feel again.